In the chaotic aftermath of Cao Cao's victory, the great warrior Guan Yu found himself a prisoner. Not in chains, but in a gilded cage, separated from his sworn brother Liu Bei. His only duty was to protect his brother's family. To save them, he had accepted a temporary surrender to the brilliant warlord Cao Cao. Cao Cao, who admired Guan Yu's honor above all else, showered him with gifts. Fine silks, beautiful women, titles of nobility, and mountains of gold. But Guan Yu was a lion in a silk-lined den. He accepted the gifts, but his heart remained an unopened book. Every night he would stand alone in his lavish courtyard, his hand resting on his legendary green dragon crescent blade, and stare south towards the unknown location of his lost brother. His loyalty was not for sale. Cao Cao's final greatest gift was a legend in itself: the steed Red Hair, a horse said to be a dragon in equine form, capable of traveling 1,000 miles in a single day. When Guan Yu saw the magnificent, fiery red stallion, he did something he had never done for any other gift. He bowed deeply in thanks. Cao Cao, his heart filled with a flicker of hope, asked why this gift alone had earned his gratitude. Guan Yu's reply was a masterpiece of loyalty. "Prime Minister," he said, his voice a low rumble, "I am grateful beyond words, for I know my brother Liu Bei is alive somewhere, and now, thanks to your magnificent gift, I know that when I find him, I can reach him in a single day." Cao Cao's smile faded, replaced by a look of bitter admiration. He had given his rival the very tool he would use to escape. The lion was now winged. When word finally reached him of Liu Bei's whereabouts, Guan Yu did not hesitate. He bundled all the treasures Cao Cao had given him, sealed them with an official letter of resignation, and prepared to leave. He took nothing with him but his weapon, his horse, and the humble carriage that carried his brother's wives. He rode to the Prime Minister's gates to say his farewells, but Cao Cao, on the advice of his jealous generals, refused to see him, hoping to delay him. Guan Yu, his duty clear, simply turned his horse and began his long journey. He was a lone warrior, an army of one escorting 2 noble ladies through 1,000 miles of hostile territory. It was an impossible journey, a testament to an unbreakable oath. His quest had begun. The journey was a gauntlet. Cao Cao's generals, acting without direct orders but knowing their master's desire, had sent word to every pass and checkpoint: do not let Guan Yu through. At the first fortified pass, the general in command, Kong Shu, refused him entry. "I have no orders from the Prime Minister to let you pass," he declared. Guan Yu, his face a mask of cold resolve, replied, "The order is in my heart." Kong Shu, seeing this as an act of treason, charged him. The fight was over in a single, breathtaking moment. The green dragon crescent blade was a blur of green and silver light. A flash of steel, a silent scream, and the general lay dead. Guan Yu rode on, his blade now stained with the first blood of his long journey home. He had not sought conflict, but he would not be denied his path. At the next city, the story was the same. The commander, Han Fu, set a trap. He sent a soldier to lure Guan Yu into a narrow alley, while an archer waited on a rooftop. As Guan Yu rode into the trap, the arrow flew, striking him in the arm. Enraged but not disabled, Guan Yu ignored his wound, charged the commander, and cut him down. The city guards, seeing their leader fall, scattered in terror. In the dark, torchlit streets of the city, Guan Yu found a physician to treat his wound. He sat, stoic and silent, as the arrow was pulled from his flesh, not a single cry of pain escaping his lips. His physical suffering was nothing compared to the weight of his duty. 2 generals had now fallen. The legend of his unstoppable journey was beginning to spread. At the crossing of the Yellow River, he met a new kind of obstacle. The ferrymaster, Qin Shi, was a subordinate of one of the generals he had slain. Burning with a desire for revenge, he refused to grant Guan Yu passage and attacked him on the docks. The fight was swift and brutal. With Qin Shi dead, Guan Yu now commanded the ferry, but he stood on the banks of the mighty mist-covered river and looked back at the road he had traveled. A road of blood and death. His quest for loyalty was forcing him to become a butcher. A deep, sorrowful conflict was visible in his eyes. He was a man of honor, forced into dishonorable acts to fulfill a greater honor. This was the true, agonizing cost of his oath. He turned his face to the river and sailed on, his heart as heavy as the morning fog. In a city beyond the river, he heard a rumor that gave him a flicker of hope. Another great warrior, a man whose description sounded like his third sworn brother, Zhang Fei, was said to have taken command of a nearby fortress. Overjoyed, Guan Yu rushed to meet him. But when he arrived, he was not met with a loving embrace. He was met with a leveled spear and a roar of pure rage. Zhang Fei, having heard that Guan Yu had surrendered to their enemy, now saw him as a traitor. "You have betrayed our oath!" he screamed, his eyes burning with a brother's fury. No words could convince him. To prove his loyalty, Guan Yu had to face a new challenge: the suspicion of the very family he was trying to reunite. The pain of this accusation was a wound deeper than any arrow. Just as the two brothers were about to clash, a new enemy appeared. A detachment of Cao Cao's cavalry, sent by a general who had heard of Guan Yu's journey, arrived to capture him. Guan Yu saw his chance. "Brother," he said to Zhang Fei, "watch me now and see where my heart lies." In a breathtaking display of martial prowess, Guan Yu charged the entire enemy detachment alone. He was a green whirlwind of death, his blade a flash of light. In the time it took for a drum to be beaten 3 times, the enemy commander was slain and his soldiers scattered. Zhang Fei watched, his fury slowly melting away, replaced by a dawning, tearful realization of his own foolish doubt. He had just witnessed a living god of war, a man whose loyalty was as sharp and as unbreakable as the edge of his blade. His loyalty proven, the brothers were reunited and the final leg of the journey began. He had passed through 5 gates and slain 6 of Cao Cao's generals. He had faced suspicion, traps, and his own conscience. The final gate was not one of wood or stone, but of forgiveness. Cao Cao, upon hearing the full story of Guan Yu's unstoppable journey, was not enraged. He was filled with a profound, deep admiration. He sent a messenger with a final gift, a pouch of gold for his travel expenses and an official decree ordering all his remaining forces to stand down and let the warrior pass. Cao Cao accepted his defeat in this battle of wills. He knew he could conquer kingdoms, but he could not conquer a loyalty as pure and as powerful as Guan Yu's. And so, after 1,000 miles of blood and steel, Guan Yu was finally reunited with his sworn brother, Liu Bei. He returned the 2 ladies, safe and sound. He had kept his promise. He had fulfilled his duty. He had slain generals, fought his own kin, and crossed a war-torn country. Not for glory, not for wealth, but for the sake of a single, simple oath, sworn years ago in a peach garden. The journey of 1,000 miles cemented his legend. He was more than a warrior. He was a symbol, a timeless epic embodiment of the unbreakable power of loyalty itself.